industry is increasingly becoming an information industry. Vehicle manufacturers need to be able to drive and use data to improve their business operations and enhance customer experience. Now we have a fireside chat on unlocking value from connected vehicles data. I would like to invite Mr. Sumant Banerji, Consulting Editor, ET Auto, to moderate the conversation. Over to you, Mr. Banerji.
Welcome to ET Auto Connected Vehicles Summit, our version for 2021. And as you may have heard from so many speakers since morning, the automobile of the future is largely going to be driven on a lot of connected technologies. So the car that will be on the road will be powered and embedded by layers and layers of software and coding. So while that makes the automobile a lot more complex, but it also at the same time opens up an opportunity which is valued roughly in trillions of dollars of opportunity for car makers and vehicle manufacturers across the world. So that also happens to be the topic of this special fireside chat on unlocking value from connected vehicle data. And to discuss this, we have two great panelists with us. Let me welcome Mr. Brijesh Gubbi. He's the AVP at Hyundai, and he largely looks into the new business areas and strategy in the company. Welcome, Mr. Gubbi.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumant.
Welcome. And from the technology side, we have Mr. Lalit Arora. He is the India Head, Client Relationships, Connected Automotive Solutions from Tata Communications. Welcome, Mr. Arora.
Thank you, Sumant. Looking forward to the discussion.
Welcome. Thank you. So let me start off with Hyundai and with Brijesh. So Hyundai is a very large company. It's one of the largest OEMs in the world. And I'm sure you are doing a lot of work on connected technologies. Give us a sense of what you are doing and how are you going to achieve all the targets that you must have set for yourself in making life easier for users worldwide.
So at Hyundai, clearly connectivity is one of the key pillars of our strategy. And we launched India's first connected SUV in 2019, which is Hyundai Venue. And since then, we have sold over 180,000 connected vehicles in the Indian market to be the market leader. So we believe that we have a market share of approximately around 30% in the Indian market. So clearly Hyundai is committed to connected technologies, and we believe that this is going to be very important. Like you mentioned, Sumant, we are talking about software on the wheels. Now it is no longer a car, it is a moving software with all the ECUs and so on, right? So clearly connectivity is going to play a major role. And at Hyundai, we want to offer connected driving experience for our customers. And it is based on three important pillars. One is safety and security. Second is performance. And third is convenience. So all our strategies are, somehow falling under these three important pillars for Hyundai. And whenever we offer any service, we ensure that, we enhance the customer value proposition in one of these three areas. Also at Hyundai, we believe that vehicle is the third living space for our customers, where the customers are spending more time apart from home and work. And it is very important for us to provide a kind of, experience for customers, be it in traffic, be it in panic situation, be it in emergency, be it driving. How can we provide, better experiences for our customers, provide that peace of mind in terms of safety and security, and also performance. How can we impact customers on a day-to-day life? For example, can we provide driving behavior to our customers, which helps them improve their driving, patterns and help them save fuel costs and avoid accidents? Can we provide real-time information to our customers, which will help them to save time? And can we provide some information related to the vehicle in terms of errors and so on? So all of this is very important for us. And clearly, we want our customers to see value. It is not one-sided what Hyundai we want to do in terms of connectivity, but very important for our customers to see that as a valuable proposition and also continue to subscribe and use these technologies on a day-to-day basis. So that is the heart of our strategy, Sumant.
So Brijesh, I have a follow-up question. I understand that these vehicles, they will churn out humongous amounts of data going forward. And that brings in a very critical element of data analytics, where driver profiling, driver behavior, all of that comes into the picture, which in turn gives you a sort of a heads up about how to design and how to frame your vehicles. Give me a sense of how you are going to harness the data that will be generated from cars in future. And also, is this a country-wide approach in the sense that from one country to the next, is it going to be different, or is it going to be a universal one fits all kind of an approach at Hyundai?
Right. So, Sumant, this is the most important point of connectivity, which is the data, right? See, why it is so important? Because this is customer data, right? So at Hyundai, we respect data privacy and data security, right? So, so clearly data is going to be one of the key elements of connectivity. Let me tell you, Sumant, today we collect gigabytes of data every single day, right? So we are collecting data from the vehicle. We are collecting data that is related to the driver. So we are collecting sensor data and we are collecting customer data, right? So a lot of these information is stored at Hyundai. Now you may ask, what is the purpose, right? See, one is we need to analyze data on a real-time basis. For example, if I need to provide some information to the customer about, let's say, tire pressure, let's say about the vehicle, that means I need to know the vehicle status, and then I'm able to push that information to the vehicle. So what I mean is, we collect data on a day-to-day basis, and we are able to churn out valuable insights on a daily basis, which a customer can use in his daily commute, right? And which can help customers prevent any kind of an incident or kind of a failure. So all of this we provide on a day-to-day basis. Can we send traffic information to the customer based on the latitude and longitude that we collect from the customer, right? What about the safety related information, right? Panic, distress, kind of the information. So all of this data we collect and we pass on the insights to customer on a day-to-day basis. What is very important is for the future, right? Because this data is very critical for us to analyze, like you said, mine the data and to provide some insight for the long term. For example, can we develop innovative services based on this data? Right? Mm-hmm. And can we offer these as new services to our customers, right? For example, preventive maintenance, right? Mm-hmm. If I cannot collect the battery data and if I cannot analyze the performance, how can I predict the failure, right? So a lot of these things are also linked to short to mid-term, why we need to collect this data and offer these innovative services for our customers. The other important aspect, Sumant, I want to highlight is personalization and customization, right? So based on the data, we can understand our customers' preferences. We can understand what they like, what they don't like. And in the future, we are also able to pass on these as new features, customization and personalization to our customers, right? Imagine you getting into a vehicle and then your favorite channel is automatically selected, right? So all of this is personalization, right? So we need to know what you do, and we can offer these as benefits for our customers. So that is one of the other important areas that we are working towards, right? And all of this is following the data privacy laws and clearly working based on all the customer consents and all of that, right? The other thing is the OEM like us, we need to also understand the voice of customer. We need to understand the usage. See, today we offer 60 plus features using our BlueLink technology. The question is, do customers like all of them? Do they use all of them? What do they like? What do they don't like, right? Okay. So the data analytics is very important for us. And at Hyundai, we have a big data platform that we have established, and we are very clear that future is data driven, and connectivity is going to play a major role, and all the data that we collect is going to be used to provide insights to our customer, develop new innovative services, and also future is going to be about data monetization, right? How can we monetize this data under the legal framework? So a lot of these aspects are going to develop in the future. How can we share data in the ecosystem? For example, we talk about vehicle to vehicle, we talk about vehicle to infrastructure. So the data sharing economy is going to be very important. So at Hyundai, we are working on all of these areas, Sumant, so I can elaborate whatever is interesting. But as Hyundai, we are very committed, and we have recently launched our Beyond Mobility strategy, and we clearly emphasize on our Blue Link technology. And like you rightly said, it is going to play a major role for us. And talking about cross country, so Sumant, what happens is every country has their legal regulations in terms of data storage. See, data has to be locally stored in the country, right? Correct. So that is one of the important regulations that at Hyundai we have a global solutions but customized to Indian market. So we kind of work towards the global data privacy law, but also very specific to Indian laws. So we consider all of these requirements, and then we have to also consider the network connectivity. I'm sure Mr. Arora can highlight from his perspective, but from Hyundai perspective, the network connectivity plays a major role. So we have local contracts and we have global contracts. We have map providers, like we have a lot of Indian map providers, we have global map providers, we have Indian suppliers, Indian vendors. So it is a lot of India specific that Hyundai is working on, but we also have partnership. For example, our network partner is Vodafone today, and we have a global kind of collaboration with them, but we have a lot of things that is customized in India, and we work with a lot of Indian companies, Sumant.
But very, very fascinating on how much work is actually going on this field. And it gives me a good cue to bring Lalit in, because as you mentioned, there is so much to be done from an India specific standpoint. Obviously, you can have a global framework, but a lot of these have to be customized to Indian needs, just like a vehicle needs to be designed for the Indian roads and Indian consumers. Similarly, all the software also needs to have an Indianness to it. And I think that is where Tata Comms comes in very well. And I would like to ask Lalit that there are now many companies, many players in India that are offering connected technologies in various different ways. How are you different from them? And what are you largely doing which solves so many problems that Indian manufacturers must be facing, or unlocking value for them from a technological standpoint? Give me an overview of what Tata Communications is trying to do here.
Sure. Thanks, Sumant, and wonderfully hearing on the strategy and challenges which Hyundai is facing from Brijesh. And if we look at Tata Com, we started many years back in terms of providing enterprise level connectivity, and looking at that, we have a strong infrastructure to provide that connectivity. We thought, how do we add value to our customers globally? So where we invested in creating platforms for our customers, where it gives an aggregated view of their operations. Now, what it does primarily is in terms of, suppose let's say Hyundai is operating in multiple countries, and one, we take the pain away from our OEMs to negotiate country-specific contracts. Second is, as Brijesh mentioned, that local compliances have to be met. So globally, we take the ownership of meeting local compliances, and giving that leeway for an OEM to focus on the core business rather than going to country by country and focusing on the contracts there. The third key aspect here comes is giving multi-profile connectivity. Now, if you look at any region, India, and across the globe, multiple operators have a varied range of connectivity. So even in India, some operators will be good in certain circles, some operators will be good in certain circles. Now, there comes a need where you need multiple profiles in a single SIM, and basis which you are always connected. So as the use cases are evolving, autonomous, electric, So there is a need that you do not want any space where you're not connected with the world. So that challenge gets solved by providing multi-operator connectivity. And the third key aspect, which I mentioned, is about we own certain key elements of this value chain. We own the infrastructure as well as we own our eSIM company today. And what it does, it gives us the flexibility to customize, modify, update softwares which may be needed to give the right information to our clients. This helps in giving a quality of service in terms of how the data consumption in our area is happening, how the networks are performing, and OEMs can take our informed decision on that front. And going, I mean, and taking from there, as we were investing and we are continuously investing our platform, we also looking at our infrastructure capabilities. We also developed a solution which helps in, which sits over the current existing solution of software upgrades. We give visibility on the network. We also give cybersecurity solutions from the device to the cloud, how the interaction between the vehicle and the space in between is happening, how we can make it a zero trust network or a communication where nobody can infringe and create a challenge or take control of the vehicle. So that's how we are differentiating ourselves in the market today. And our scale is while we comply to India regulation, our scale is pretty global. We work in 200 countries and have contracts with over 600 MNOs. So we become a partner of choice for global operations, and we continue to invest, and we look for co-creation activities because this is a very evolving state. Every organization will have very specific challenges. Like, I mean, I will give uh, one uh, one case to you. One of our client is operating in 100 plus countries, and they are having from connectivity to billing different platforms in each country, and they want to see them together in a single pane. So our platform brings in that capability that you can see your global operations in a single view.
I think that will be also very important because alongside connected technologies, we have so many other technologies that are developing. CASE, as we refer to, the
Yeah,
C stands for connected, of course, but there is autonomous driving, there is shared mobility, and more importantly, there's electric mobility. All of these are being worked upon parallelly, but they all share synergies at various points. So, Lalit, sticking to you, how do you plan to support these future technologies? You referred to the example of various different payment platforms and bringing them all together so that it becomes easier for users. I'm sure this is something that will be very, very relevant for electric mobility, for example, because you have different charging stations and all of them have different payment platforms, and you need to have some sort of a synergy that needs to be built. But alongside, there will be autonomous driving too, which will bring in even more technology into the car. So give me a sense of where what Tata Communications is doing on future technologies.
definitely. So I mean, as I shared, that our key strategy is to build in platforms and keep enhancing those platforms which will enable use cases on electric and autonomous side. Our core competence lies in terms of providing multiple operator connectivity and building solutions on top of that. Now, at Tatacom, what we are doing is we are creating value add solutions beyond. So, if you look at, there will be softwares which will be in the car, but the stuff of softwares have to interact with the world. Now, that interaction between the car and the world, we are building into interfaces and solutions which will enable that, which will enable a safe transmission of data, which will give a continuous data connectivity to the world. So these are two key aspects which we are focusing on. The other is, as you see that the as autonomous and EVs are evolving, there is always a need to enhance the softwares, enhance or upgrade the software. There have been a lot of recalls in terms of certain challenges which are observed in the field. Now, what we are working on, we give you a SOTA platform, which is a software over the air platform, which sits along with the existing solutions. Second is we are very much focused on providing edge pass platform. Now, what does that mean? Now, I mean, so you can put your software and continuously build on your software, which is in the vehicle. Now, this has limitations in terms of lead times. You even if you do a modification on your software or a ECU in the vehicle, the lead times will range between 15 months to 2 years to get the software built, to test it along with the vehicle, and to launch it. Now, what the Edge platform does is you can host certain key software pieces which are not time critical. Definitely, when you're talking on autonomous and you have to brake the vehicle, you will not put that on Edge. But there are certain infotainment use cases, certain softwares which you can host on the Edge. Now, 5G will enable those use cases much more strongly because the latencies will be very low, and it will take away pain and the congestion which may be coming because as the software and the vehicle is increasing to the cloud. So we are working on that front, giving those edge technologies to our client ecosystem.
Great. Brijesh, let me come back to you. And of course, there is so much work happening. As Lalit mentioned, 5G will actually probably act as a catalyst to the development of connected technologies. You spoke about Beyond Mobility, which Hyundai recently launched. Please elaborate on that a little bit more so that we know what exactly that means in real life terms. And also, a company like Hyundai would also need to monetize all of this that you are doing. There has to be some benefit at the end of it from a company standpoint. So give us a sense of what are the commercial opportunities that exist for Hyundai by bringing in all of these technologies into the car.
Absolutely. So Beyond Mobility is a recent campaign, and there are three important areas in this strategy. One is the innovation, for which Hyundai is known for. Second is the technology, the new technology, and third is sustainability. Right. So clearly, whatever we do at Hyundai, is somehow a part of one of these three key initiatives. Right. So BlueLink technology, which is the connected car technology, clearly, cuts across all of these three areas. So let me tell you, for example, when you talk about technology, right? So it's the new technology. You talked about CASE. In Hyundai, we talk about MECA, which is mobility, electrification, connectivity, and autonomous, right? So clearly, connectivity, it cuts across all of these domains, be it electric vehicle, ICE, whatever, right? So the vehicle needs to be connected, and then these services need to be available to the customer, right? So that is the technology. In terms of innovation, data is clearly one of the key aspects, because with data we can continue to innovate and develop new services for our customers. So today we offer 60 plus features. Like I said, we need to analyze and we need to offer the relevant features. Since we were the first to launch the connected technology as an OE fitment, we need to also start launching these new services, because we are driving the innovation, right? The new technology. So clearly data plays a very important part here, and we continue to do so. And Mr. Arora touched a very important point, which is the OTA, right? On the air update.
Yeah.
If a customer buys a car, typically he owns the car anywhere between 5 to 7 years, sometimes even more, right? So the technology keeps upgrading, but you cannot change the vehicle, right? So we need to provide these on the air updates, which Hyundai already does with our new vehicles, right? So we need to provide these new services, new maps, right? That we need to keep updating new services with the existing technology, because we cannot expect the customers to change vehicles or change technologies, right? So clearly, Hyundai is planning for the future. All our technologies are future ready, and that is the second pillar. The third aspect is sustainability. So in sustainability, Sumant, as you hear from many people, that is the key pillar, right? We talk about clean energy initiatives, for which we are known for, be it electric vehicles, hydrogen powered electric vehicles, and so on. And connectivity is again important. Like you mentioned, in case of electric vehicle, you need to be able to locate a charging station, you need to be able to book and pay. And what is very important is the route optimization. See, if I have a certain charge in my vehicle, I need to be guided accordingly based on the charge. And this charge has to be transmitted to the cloud and then needs to be informed to the customer. So connectivity plays a very important role. And then we have a lot of electric vehicle charging manufacturers in India, and with a lot of interfaces like what Mr. Arora mentioned. They have different platforms and different connectivity plays a major role, and then we need to aggregate and pass on all these benefits, right? If we work on route optimization, we are reducing the emission, and then we are indirectly contributing to the reduction in the emissions, and then it fits our sustainability importance or the prioritization. So you clearly see how connectivity cuts across technology innovation and sustainability. And moving forward with the evolution of new technologies, I believe that it will be inevitable. Today we see that majority of our trims are with connected solutions. For example, all our Alcazar models comes with BlueLink technology, and we see that ratio increasing. And Sumant, the future is going to be fully connected, and we will see a lot of connected devices, lots of data, and lots of new services. That's what we believe at Hyundai is going to be the future.
So you raised an interesting point about providing the relevant software to consumers, and increasingly going forward, we will see a wide variety of powertrains. Right now, it's largely petrol/diesel, but very soon we are going to see electrics. We are also probably going to see hybrids, and sometime not too far away in the future, we will have hydrogen. So all of these different variety of powertrains, will that increase the complexity in terms of what connected technologies should go in these vehicles depending on the powertrains? Or is that work in isolation, that powertrains is a separate matter and connected technology is a separate matter?
See, not at all. I believe that they're all integrated, irrespective of the electric vehicle or hydrogen. It is all having similar objectives of providing the customer convenience, performance, and safety, like I mentioned. See, let me tell you in terms of EV charging, right? I spoke about route optimization, but also battery life. See, how can I push in the right amount of electricity so that I have the longer life of my battery? And how can that information from the vehicle be shared to the cloud and be exchanged between the charging manufacturers? So as you can imagine, Sumant, that's a very complex ecosystem, and the backend architecture is very complex, right? So the data sharing mechanism, and eventually that information is pushed to the vehicle. So we have been talking about data sharing from the vehicle to the consumer, but what about pushing information from the cloud to the vehicle, right? So this is going to be very important. See, on-the-air updates are going to play a major role. And be it hydrogen. See, hydrogen is a different ball game altogether. You're talking about hydrogen storage, transporting, dispensing, all of that. And then you're talking about high pressure systems and how connectivity can give all this real-time information to the customer in terms of safety, right, with high pressure systems. So all of that is going to play an important role. So connectivity will be the heart of the vehicle, irrespective of whether it is an electric vehicle or a hydrogen vehicle. And we will continue to provide these kind of services to the customer, and these services will be customized based on the powertrain, Sumant, that you mentioned. So moving forward, the C in the mecha or the case that you mentioned is going to take a significant share, and it will be going hand in hand with any kind of new technology that is going to evolve. And that is why when I said sustainability for us at Hyundai, that is where connectivity will play a major role as the technology part in our beyond mobility strategy.
Right. So I have a common kind of a question, which Brijesh you can answer, and then later on, Lalit, you can also weigh upon. And it is a very often I have heard that people saying a hardware company, which is mostly OEMs, they will need to become software companies now, because there's so much data software being embedded into a vehicle. But at the same time, you have bona fide software companies already there who are doing this for decades and they have a head start. So now, at which point do you start to collaborate, or do you want to go on your own? Because ultimately, ownership of data is what everybody is looking at. So are software companies and OEMs on a collision course, or is there a possibility that they will try and collaborate more? And if there is a chance of more collaboration, so since both of you are here on this panel, I could ask, what are the areas where probably we can see a Hyundai or a Tata Communications or somebody else collaborate more and more, so that at the end of the day, the customer gets the benefit at a price which is not too high? Because if you want to develop everything on your own, then probably the cost will be higher and the lead time will be longer. So what are the areas of collaboration that we can see between the OEM side and a bona fide software company which is doing hardcore coding on their own?
So Sumant, I can start, and I'm sure Mr. Arora has valuable insights as well. See, we have already started collaboration. See, gone are those days when we used to talk about hardware and mechanical components, electronic systems. See, today, most of the companies are on cloud, right? And cloud providers, the popular cloud providers are Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and so on, right? So as OEMs, we do have our in-house servers, but we do also work with the cloud providers, right? We do work with a lot of software companies. For example, Sumant, what about maps, right? What about software services, applications, right? For these apps. What about network providers? Like a lot of integration happen in the backend, because you're talking about data sharing and data communication, and information is again passed on to the consumer, right? So every hardware, has application layers, software, programming, and it is inevitable, in my personal opinion, that gone are those days where you say you want to, influence everything in the ecosystem. I believe that we have already started collaboration in those areas, right? Already, Hyundai is working with all of the leading technology providers, and we are collaborating already in our connected car technologies in India. So we have already started. We have established our own, data platform and so on. See, there are certain things, Suman, that you can collaborate and work together, data sharing, right? For example, we have our big data platform, which Hyundai has established. And like I mentioned, future is going to be data driven. That's what we believe. And we have in-house solutions. We have in-house architects. We have in-house scientists who are working on these artificial intelligence, So there are certain areas as OEMs where we are very concerned. One is the customer data, the data privacy. So customers' consent is obtained in every step. All the analytics we run. And, but the other areas in terms of data storage, when we talk about day to day, I talked about gigabytes and terabytes of data. Those are the areas where we have private clouds and where we are working. But obviously, we have a lot of strict protocols. Mr. Arora mentioned about cyber security, right? So we also engage with a lot of technology providers in terms of securing our entire ecosystem, providing new services to our customers, right? So you have to collaborate with the ecosystem players, right? Especially when you open up your infotainment system with a lot of new systems and services, right? So collaboration is the way forward, but there are certain elements that are very critical for an OEM, and we have to be very careful. And these kind of information is still very close to our heart. And what the future will bring, we will see. We will have data privacy law, so we will work based on the data privacy law. So wherever we will collaborate, we will collaborate. We are developing software systems that will be integrated on the vehicle. There will be more software. I agree with you. There will be more and more software, more and more ECUs on the vehicle. But on the other hand, as OEMs, we have to respect our customers' data privacy, and there's certain things that we will still continue to manage, and there might be certain kind of openness that will develop in the future. Only time would say, Sumant.
I find it very fascinating when you say that there will be a lot of collaborations, but at the same time, there are some things that we will want to keep it to ourselves and maybe not share too much with the outside world. Mr. Arora, if I can bring you in, what has been your experience so far? You've been collaborating with so many other companies, and this is a cross-sectoral kind of a play here. What has been your experience, and where all do you think the most of the collaborations are already happening from a technology company standpoint?
Sure, definitely. So I'll give you our industry view as well as overall how I see the industry has been collaborating. If you look at Tata Com, so we are in a very different space. We coexist with the existing solutions to say so, because our play is from when the data comes out of the vehicle and it has to reach to endpoint, which is the cloud. Now, how do we create more value? How we can coexist with the existing solutions without interfering in any of the systems which are currently playing, and where the customers are facing challenges. So that those were the three key aspects where we had positioned our offerings. We coexist with the connected vehicle platform which a OEM may have today. Our solutions and offerings, they get completely integrated with the existing infra or existing solutions which our clients have today. Second is, can we do value add? We do value add in terms of giving visibility to our customers in terms of how the interaction between a vehicle and the cloud is happening, or cloud and the network is happening. That's the second key aspect where we become independent. We give independent inferences basis our expertise, because we had been there in this field for multiple decades now. So our knowledge in terms of in interpreting and giving right inferences are very well placed today. Now, third aspect is, can we go a bit more above and become a digital ecosystem enabler, right? So there may be existing solutions of yours, how we can co-host them, or we can further value add to the existing solutions which an OEM may have. So that aspect also we are playing a key role today. Right. If you look at industry, I mean, inside the vehicle is like there have been multiple standardization which is happening in terms of AutoSAR and the areas across that, so that the dependencies on the hardware reduces and more software can be upgraded, and you can plug in hard software from any of your players, or you can either modify it to what applications you want to add. So that has been happening inside the vehicle today, and it's further growing and consolidating as well.
Which is why I think it's no wonder that software companies like Google or Apple, they are looking at making cars, and so a company like Hyundai or Suzuki or Toyota, they also need to get into software because ultimately it's the users and their data that is the most attractive bit. Gentlemen, it was great having you here. I didn't even realize that we have exhausted a time limit of half an hour. We have breached that time limit. I would have loved to can continue this forward. I had some questions on data privacy, which Brijesh already answered. I would have loved to ask Lalit as well, but maybe some other time. But it was great having you here, and please have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing your expert advice and some great insights. Now we'll proceed to the next session. Stay tuned.